And we are live. Just getting all the streams up. If you guys are listening on X, X has been kind of intermittently offline, so maybe worth switching over to the YouTube stream. And drop the links for all that in a minute. Yeah, Anderson, X has been kind of offline all day, so if you're having issues with X, I would recommend going over to YouTube. This is also being streamed on X, video and audio, and then also LinkedIn. Um, so I guess you got a couple options if X isn't working right for you. I'll grab the stream link though and paste it for you guys. Let's put it in the threadcast. I see one of you in X. I assume most people it's not working. I think X is working for certain areas of the world right now. It looks like it's not working everywhere though. So that's kind of what I think is happening. Yeah, I just added that into the threadcast. Good to go. To ask. Looks like X is getting a DDoS attack. It's very possible. I think a platform like X probably gets DDoSed every single day. So you can add measures in place to help protect the platform against DDoS attacks. But at the end of the day, your services are getting hammered with requests. So that's why you guys will see, sometimes if there's a DDoS attack that's kind of ongoing, that's why you would potentially see oh no, I saw a notification that the stream wasn't working. That's why you would potentially see like different downtime. Like you might see it down for a second, but then if you refresh, it's back up. That's why, that's kind of how that works is your services are just getting hammered with requests. So if you can catch it, if you catch it at the wrong time, it looks like it's down, but then if you refresh it, it'll be up. So if you guys see any weird, if you guys see any, off time, or errors or Cloudflare errors or whatever, just refresh and then, it should fix itself. Yeah, M coins, if you turn off your VPN, then X works too. Yeah, it's some of that has to do with like how you protect against the DDoS. I don't know if X is getting DDoS and that's why it's down. I know that INLEO has been for the past few days. So sometimes if you change your IP address, which changing your or turning off your VPN would do, it would, the UI would allow you in since it's a new IP address. So things can just kind of depend on different things like that. But at the end of the day, you add a lot of protections and eventually the DDoSing goes away. It costs money to run an attack like that. So eventually, usually the attacker will just kind of give up at a certain point. So Andersino, it's not that expensive, but there's different types of protection. Some of it can come from Cloudflare, and then some can come from others. So the thing with INLEO is that we have a lot of different services on the platform. So by turning on various Cloudflare protections, it can make um, some services not work that well, or not work at all. For example, it just kind of depends on what it is. But the way that the protections work from Cloudflare is essentially just like rate limiting and other things. So, if you're doing something that requires a lot of requests, like for example, pulling your referral dashboard or the stats page or, anything that's got a lot of data, if you've got some DDoS protections in place, it may prevent you from loading those certain pages and data sets. Just because you're obviously making a lot of requests at once. And the DDoS, essentially a DDoS is just making a lot of requests at once also. So if you're putting protections in place, you kind of protect against both good and bad actors. Yeah, yeah, no problem. Thanks for saying that, Anderson. Yeah, we fixed the Hive signer bug. We I don't think that many people use Hive signer, but I know it's a few. I know you're one of them. I would definitely recommend other login methods, but if it's more convenient for you and that's just what you choose to use, we definitely want to make sure it's available and working. So glad we got that fixed. See a couple of you guys filing in here. Salami, X is down. Long live INLEO. Yeah, there's definitely been a good marketing moment for us to say that INLEO's online and X is not. One kind of funny thing I saw was from Joel. I would pull it up on X, but I can't. Yeah, I think he posted on INLEO too. Let me see if I can find it. But he was talking about how see if I can get it. He was talking about how, X is down, but INLEO's up. And even if INLEO wasn't up, you would be able to pull up Hive on any UI. So, that's kind of the beauty of Hive. Here, I found it. Paste it in here. You'll find the beauty of Hive is in, multiple UIs and the blockchain itself. So definitely one of the huge benefits of being on a blockchain. And I just put his thread in there, but he basically said X is down right now. INLEO isn't down. And even if it was, I'd be able to use a different Hive interface with no problem. One day people start waking up to the power of blockchain social media. So yeah, that's why it's important to be on a blockchain. On Leo AI. Leo AI is already here. But yeah, I see a couple of you guys have filed in. So let's get into the main announcement for today, and then we can kind of dig into the details of it. We probably won't do this show for super long, but I wanted to get, obviously there's a blog post going out today, but I wanted to get some good, video out there, to explain the integration and what exactly we've been working on, when it comes to these APIs that we're releasing. So the main, we're releasing a couple different phases, and let me just pull up the post so I can go through each one. All right. So, as many of you know, the INLEO proposal has had, a few updates to it over the past couple of weeks. As I've talked to a lot of different people on Hive and stakeholders and other project owners, and then, just the community at large, about what INLEO can do to provide more value to Hive. Obviously our proposal is focused around getting funding so that we can do these collaborations and grow the ecosystem. But that being said, I know that getting funding for something like marketing is a little esoteric and it's hard to explain, and essentially you're just kind of trading on reputation and you're making promises around marketing, which is a hard thing to measure in many senses. So the way I wanted to kind of move forward on a lot of these things is allow allow INLEO to provide a lot of value on. But instead of, how most proposals work, where if they are building open source technology and getting funding, they're using that funding to pay their dev team, and just kind of make their bills and get by each day. And that's a totally fine approach. I just think for INLEO, our approach should be a little bit different. We're already developing these things. We've already developed a lot of these things as well. And what I want to see us do is get the funding to take these things to market. So, we're building these things regardless. But instead of, building them closed source and building them only for INLEO, we can start to build these things open source, and we can put them out into the, broader Hive space, not only as, open source code bases, but also as plug and play APIs. So I'm very big on final products and releasing products that are actually usable in the real world. Um, so, it's one thing to open source a code base uh, because essentially, like every UI, every front end may be written in a different language. Like I know, our language that we're written in is different than, for example, Peak D or Ecency. So, a lot of the code being open source doesn't necessarily mean that there's a ton of crossover. And that's, you can already see that because, like, for example, if Ecency adds something, they're open source, that doesn't mean that INLEO can go out and just say, okay, we're going to just use that code and just, copy paste. It just doesn't work that way, because everybody's written in a different language. So, open sourcing is great, and it does allow for, security as a blockchain, because if a UI disappears, if a project goes away, whatever happens, at least that code base is available, so that someone else could spin up the same UI or adapt the code base, for a different UI. So there's value in being open source, and there's value in providing your raw code base. That being said, I think there's also a lot of value and desire from, obviously, like I've had these conversations with other Hive projects, and ecosystem owners in our community. And, there's a lot of desire and there's a lot of value in providing APIs for this stuff. So what I mean by an API is, allowing, for example, a UI to be able to just tap into a simple endpoint, like a URL, basically, just to simplify things, and then get features from INLEO without any, like, code implementation in terms of the back end, at least. On the front end, they're going to have to build out, obviously, like adding a page, adding a module. But in terms of how the feature actually functions, that can just be an API call, which is, if you do any research about that, it's far easier to implement something that via an API than to take like an open source code base written in a different language and then adapt it into your UI. So, our goal with these collaborations is not just to grow INLEO, it's to grow the entire Hive blockchain. So part of the reason why I've kind of transitioned from being, very like a closed source, building things for INLEO, into being more open source and wanting to provide these APIs is that with the collaborations to grow the entire Hive ecosystem, it's a lot more valuable for us to have other Hive UIs with the same login methods available and the same sign up methods available. So, for example, with Keystore right now, if we sign up Dash users with Keystore, and we've signed up over 7,000, since the Dash, collaboration went live, those Keystore users cannot use other Hive apps unless they download something like Hive Keychain, and then derive their keys and paste them into Hive Keychain. Then they become a more, Hive centric user, which obviously we've aimed to do. But I think it makes a lot of sense to also allow them to get into other apps using Keystore. I mean, a lot of the people that I've talked to that we've onboarded from Dash, they ask, why do I need to download a whole other extension in order to just use some other Hive applications? They want to be able to just use their Keystore, the same way that they can log into INLEO with Keystore. They want to log into other Hive apps with Keystore as well. So the nature of our proposal has changed a lot to being, I spent a lot of time with the dev team and said, okay, well, we've got these APIs, we've got these different things that we've built, to not only onboard new users, but to, retain users and have great features for them. So we basically said, so we sat down and we said, what APIs, what endpoints can we build? What features can we open source that make the most sense with the specific goal in mind of growing the whole Hive ecosystem, um, and allowing other UIs to be kind of more lockstep with us so that if we onboard new communities, those new community members can go to other Hive apps, and not only can INLEO grow, but other Hive UIs can grow as well. So we kind of separated out which features, which APIs, which code bases make the most sense to include in this proposal. So we've come up with about 6 different ones. And I'll get into some of those right now. But we've come up with some different APIs that we can release, and then some different parts of our code base that we can open source, that are specifically related to marketing, onboarding, and growing the Hive ecosystem in terms of users. So that's kind of how this proposal is focused. Is I wanted to get out of just being like this esoteric like marketing proposal, because I do see the issues with doing that. I see that it's a lot harder to measure our progress. It's a lot harder to have like clear deliverables, if we're just focused on marketing. So instead of just being about marketing, I wanted to take things, I wanted to say, okay, well, let's have some really clear technology deliverables, and then use the funding we get from delivering on those to then go out and market those technologies to the broader space through the collaboration approach I keep talking about. And now we have the best of both worlds, where a lot of proposals are getting funding to build open source tech, and then they're paying their team with that funding that they get, but then there's no marketing happening to actually use that technology to grow the blockchain, which is what we all want to see. We all want to see great open source tech get built, but we also want to see that technology actually have a result in the real world of driving in new users, driving in new capital, driving in people to invest in Hive and stake Hive power. You know, there's a two-sided game to everything, and building it is just one part of that game. You also need to take it to market and have people actually utilize what you've built. You cannot build it and they will come. Like that's been tried and proven over the decades of various technologies and other things, where just building it is not enough. You need to build it, and you need to give people a really good reason to use it. You need to put it in their face, and you need to have them realize what are the actual like logical reasons why this will have a benefit in their life. So you need to do both things. And the proposal that we have has kind of changed dramatically to being, just kind of that second piece of things, which is the marketing, to now adding that first piece as well, which is clear technology deliverables, and then using the funding we get to then take those technologies to market. So I really want to put an emphasis on that in our proposal, because the main argument I see against our proposal is that we don't have clear deliverables, because it is marketing and it's not a clear game. So I think a lot of people understand that. That's why our proposal is at 94% already. A lot of people understand that, and they still want to see that marketing. But they also want to see, more clear deliverables and things that we can do to provide more value to Hive. So releasing not only some code bases open source, but also releasing these plug and play APIs that other UIs can tap into for free, I think just provides a lot of value to Hive. So with our proposal, we're just trying to figure out how can we maximize the value we're providing to Hive in various ways. And that, includes open sourcing things and releasing APIs, and also, obviously the collaborations and marketing itself. So the first of many things that we're going to open source and release as an API that's plug and play for all Hive UIs is the plug and play APIs for the key store signups and logins. So included with that is also going to be the resource credit delegation system and the account creation tokens from Leo.voter. So when I say that I want to make a plug and play API, it means that I want to make something that is very easy to integrate for other UIs. So there's very clear documentation, and it's as easy as possible for them to integrate. And it's a final product. So it's, it's not only the API to just have a key store login, it's also the API to have key store signups. And with that, utilizing INLEO's resources to do the signup. So, the UI that integrates essentially just needs to build, the front end module to have a sign up flow for their users. And we'll obviously give the example of how INLEO's integrated our sign up flow on the front end, um, and then clear documentation on how the API works. But essentially, we want to make it plug and play so that, let's say that ActiveFit wants to add key store signups and logins, they can add the signups with our API. And when a user signs up, it uses our account creation token. And then we also delegate resource credits to that new user. And if you guys know anything about how our dynamic resource credit delegation system works, it essentially, we're reading from the blockchain to see when a user interacts on chain. And if their resource credits get below like 30%, then Leo.voter autonomously delegates more resource credits to that user so that they can continue to engage on chain and continue to use Hive. That's a really important aspect of our onboarding. I think it's one of the reasons our onboarding has been so successful is that when a new user comes in, they don't want to like, make two comments and then suddenly see that they're out of resource credits and they need to, get more resource credits somehow. And then it's like very esoteric on how they actually can get more resource credits. So I think this is really, really important to have this like seamless flow of if an app integrates the key store signups, then it includes everything in that API, so that it's just like immediately they integrate and now when they sign up a user, it's just that whole thing is covered. All the bases are covered, including the account creation token itself and the RCs that the user needs to engage on chain. So this first API, our estimated time to deliver it, I've pushed it up a lot because I INLEO needs to get this proposal pushed through ASAP because we've got these collaborations waiting for us, and we're working hard to get to that to get these things live. So while we were planning on taking essentially 60 days to like release a couple different APIs and then also open source the code base. I've worked with the devs to move up the timeline of all of this stuff, so that we can get some stuff rolled out. Because right now, I think the issue with our proposal is that we're trading on reputation and we are selling this future vision of what we're trying to achieve with these collaborations. And then we're also obviously now open sourcing some of our code. And I think it's just a lot of promises. And I can understand and appreciate that some people on Hive are not convinced of future promises. They want to see things kind of more delivered and in real time. So my goal to change that, and anyone who might be on the fence, is okay, let's start delivering some of this stuff. Whatever we can deliver more, aggressively in terms of timeline. Let's start to deliver some of this stuff that's extremely useful, and people can see that we're delivering stuff on schedule. And we've got a lot of other things we're delivering down the line, including the collaborations. So if we can do all of this, and obviously it's a lot of work, and the team, I mean, the devs are pissed. I mean, they're not happy having to do all this work very quickly, but I think that it's extremely vital. It's important not only for the future of INLEO, but for the future of Hive in general. So I'm really pushing the team hard to get this stuff done. So the delivery date for this is going to be Thursday, this coming Thursday. We're going to release the open source APIs for Keystore, for both signups and sign-ins. So when this API is released, and I'm pushing to even do it faster than Thursday, but Thursday is like our deadline. When it's released, there's going to be very clear documentation on how to integrate it. And then it's going to be very clear APIs that any UI can integrate. And when a UI integrates those APIs, like I said, not only will they get the logins for Keystore, so any existing Keystore users, like I said, it's been over 7,000 since we did the Dash launch. Any of those existing Keystore users will be able to log into those Hive apps that integrate this API. But then they also, if any new users somehow like flow into ActiveFit or PeakD or whoever decides to integrate these APIs, if they want to sign up with Keystore, the user will click sign up with Keystore. The UI will have whatever flow that the developers want to build for that UI. And then it'll use our account creation token and our resource credits to ensure that the onboard is seamless and it costs nothing for the front end that integrates our API. So, in the real world, this stuff would be sold as like, software as a service, SaaS products to various companies. these APIs are not cheap to build and maintain. And it also costs us resources to actually onboard, via the account creation tokens and the RC delegations. Uh, but we're making all of it free and plug and play as part of our proposal. So, while we could package up and sell a lot of this stuff as a service to other UIs, I want to make all of this open source free, and make our resources freely available to other interfaces as well. Because again, my end goal is onboard as many possible users as we can to the Hive blockchain and bring new capital and new investors into Hive Power. As someone who holds a lot of Hive Power, that's what I want to see happen. It's what I've been working hard for years. And I hope that that's obvious with everything we've done with INLEO. Um, it's all centered around getting more users, getting more investors, getting more capital, capturing value from other ecosystems. And doing these plug and play APIs is how we allow other UIs to join us in that mission and collaborate with us so that we can onboard all these people, keep them around, keep them in the ecosystem, and keep them using different Hive applications. So again, to wrap that all up, we are releasing this by at the latest by Thursday, hopefully sooner. So I've been having, various devs on Hive check the code base and check all this stuff, and give us some pointers and, essentially just audit the code base and make sure that it's all secure. So we've been working with other devs recently to get those third-party audits going so that everything is fully, copacetic and ready to go. I see Dash in the audience. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Yes, we are live, Ben. Mortiz said, I thought it's at noon. I know in some parts of the world, you guys don't change for the time change. But in Eastern time, we do the time change. Uh, so yeah. Yeah, Luis 88. If you're interested in checking it, I can reach out to you over DMs. It's not going to be a paid thing, so I'm just having some devs who are willing to essentially donate their time since we are open sourcing all this for Hive. Um, so if you're interested in a volunteer gig to investigate for any potential vulnerabilities, that's what I'm looking for people to do. Mod Manga. We're just focused on the proposal. We need to focus on getting the proposal funded and releasing these APIs and getting these collaborations going. Because at the end of the day, bringing in new users is really the critical lead domino to all of these things working. So my goal is get these APIs out, kind of prove to the Hive ecosystem and some of these stakeholders that we are not only just like selling this promise of collaborations, which we are doing these collaborations, but we have a lot of great technology that we've spent years building. And we've done that to make growing Hive easier and better. And now, I want to take those to other Hive UIs and allow them to easily integrate them so that we can all grow together. So, I think Dallas put out a blog post like a week or two ago that showed the user base of all Hive UIs. And it's not looking that great in terms of Hive UIs and growth in general in terms of users. One thing you'll notice though is that INLEO is kind of a up and to the right. So that's not to dunk on any UIs. It's not to say that anybody's doing anything wrong, but I think INLEO has done a lot of things right. And I think that us open sourcing these APIs and our technology and allowing other UIs to integrate it can allow other Hive UIs to grow with us, especially as we go out and do these collaborations with other ecosystems. For example, and I can get into this because it's a part of the multiple APIs that we're working on. But for example, like we're releasing this key store API. We've also built one for Phantom, which is the #1 wallet on Solana. And when we do the Solana collaboration, we want all Hive UIs to have early access to integrate our APIs before that collaboration happens so that they can sign up and have Phantom Wallet users log in to their interface. So it's it's important, and I've kind of realized that more as we've seen the Dash integration go live and then gotten a lot of feedback from key store users that they want to go use other Hive apps. They hear about ActiveFit, they hear about 3Speak, they hear about Splinterlands, and they want to go use those applications, but they can't unless they download Hive Keychain and import their keys to Keychain. So while we do teach them to do that, I think there would be a lot more crossover in terms of users if those interfaces allowed key store logins as well. So yeah, Luis88 said happy to see Phantom and the Soul community coming to Hive. Yeah, I've been obviously interacting a lot with their team, and as part of our proposal, that's what we're doing. I mean, we're bringing the Solana team and their community the same way we brought Dash, and you see Dash in the audience now. The same way we brought Dash by using the key store integration, we're going to integrate Phantom, and we've already got it in testnet. And then go to the Solana team and community and say, hey, we want to onboard you guys. And essentially bring their whole ecosystem over to Hive. So the original plan was INLEO's already built the Phantom integration, and we're adding it to the INLEO UI so that you can sign up and log into Hive using Phantom. But now we're going to open source that, and we're going to release this plug and play API just like we're about to do for Keystore, so that all Hive UIs can now add Phantom signups and logins before we do the Solana collaboration. So that when the Solana collaboration goes live, any Hive UI can attract those users and bring them in alongside INLEO. So it makes our collaboration approach to growing Hive a lot more effective, because now it's not just INLEO, it's any Hive app that can get involved and get these new users onboarded. And we'll make sure that these collaboration teams, like the Solana team, for example, or like the Dash team has done, also advertise and market those other Hive apps to their ecosystem, so that they're not just saying join INLEO and earn Solana. They're also saying join 3Speak, make videos on the blockchain, and you can log in with your Phantom wallet. Or join PeakD with your Phantom wallet. Join ActiveFit with your Phantom wallet if you like to get fit and share screenshots of going on a 10-mile run or something. Allowing all these different Hive apps to have that Phantom integration before Solana goes live as a collaboration partner with us is going to make our collaborative approach to marketing that much more effective. So that's why we've really changed our approach in terms of this proposal to not only be that one piece of marketing, but to also be that dual-sided approach of, we have the open source tech, we release the APIs that are plug and play, and then we also use the funding we get to do marketing for that technology. So and I think this is a common theme for INLEO in general, we don't just bring one side of the coin. We want to bring everything. We want to A to Z have a final product that is actually used in the real world and onboards new users to Hive and investors into Hive Power. So that's always been my goal, and I hope that the open sourcing and the APIs just makes it hyper clear that that's what we're doing. Ahmad Manga, I wonder if PeakD and ECNC would implement the key store login. That would be very helpful for onboarding users from other cryptos. Yeah, I've reached out to some of those teams, and some of them have reached out to me as well. There's about 6 different Hive UIs so far. I won't say who yet, just because I want them to announce it on their own, that are going to integrate the key store signups and logins. So I'm reaching out to all those teams, and then they're also welcome to reach out to me as well about integrating. So we're having some audits done on the key store stuff and the key store APIs, so that it's all ready to open source and release this week. And then once it's released, we're gonna have we've already written like some really good docs to go with it. So it's just extremely clear, extremely easy to add. And yeah, so then it's just going to be up to Hive UIs, whoever wants to integrate it. And I think what's going to happen is, like I said, 6 of them already, and then hopefully more are going to start to integrate one by one with Keystore. And also me and the team are going to be extremely available to help in any way we can. So we're releasing the docs, we're releasing the open source API, and then we'll also be available to help integrate. So I hope to see a couple UIs integrate it, and then everyone else just say, okay, well, it would be good for our user base to integrate it as well. And then, that when you, like I said, go look at Dal's at DALZ on Hive. he posted a blog post. I'll actually just pull it up. He posted a blog post about the user base on various Hive UIs. And I want to see all Hive UIs go up and to the right. I want to see yeah, you guys all know this about me, and I've said it for years. I believe in a rising tide raising all ships. And I believe that if INLEO grows, it's good for all other Hive UIs. If all other Hive UIs grow, it's good for INLEO. I want everybody to grow. So, growth is the name of the game, especially when you've got network effects. So with INLEO and with all Hive apps, we have network effects. And if we all are working together to grow and to have different sign up and login methods and then go out and partner with these other ecosystems, it's just going to be good for every interface and front end. So that's what I want to see at the end of the day. Brando said Phantom is a crazy big app. Just the other day I read it had flipped Coinbase on App Store and playlists. Yeah, Phantom is massive. So if you thought Key Store, onboarding 7,000 users from Dash was big, I mean, Phantom is one of the biggest crypto wallets of all crypto wallets. So again, the first thing we're releasing is the Key Store API, and that is kind of a framework for us to go out and release the Phantom API, the Control Wallet API, the multi-sig API. We've got all these different, and I've shared a screenshot. I'll share another screenshot right now. Here's also the Dallas post I was just talking about. I want to see all Hive front ends go up and to the right, but let me pull up the screenshot of the different wallet integrations we've been working on. Yeah, Luis said, bring blogging to Seoul while meme shitcoin season is over. Yeah, we want to capture all those people that have, Solana has done a really good job of capturing the average person from, not crypto to being in crypto through the meme coin gambling. So imagine that as those people get, demoralized that their meme coins are going to zero, we can offer them kind of an olive branch and say, hey, I know your meme coins are not doing well. But you can come over to our platform, the Hive ecosystem, and use all these amazing apps. You can use ActiveFit, 3Speak, INLEO, and others, and you can use these apps and earn crypto. And I think that earn crypto mentality is something that will resonate really deeply with a lot of those users who especially have gambled with meme coins and probably lost a lot of money. We can offer them a more real and usable product. And doing so, I think, is just going to be a really positive thing in terms of onboarding. So I just shared a screenshot of so this is actually a modified version of the INLEO signup page that I shared that says join Hive. And you can see some of the other wallet integrations we've been working on. Phantom, Control, Multisig, and MetaMask are on there. And then I shared another screenshot of the wallet framework we've been building where we actually can now support pretty much any crypto wallet. It can be adapted into this framework we've built. So you'll see there's Control, Coinbase, MetaMask, Soulflare, Trust, Kepler, Talisman, Phantom, obviously keychains there, passkeys, key stores there, Ledger, the hardware wallet is there. We are adding, we built this framework so that now we can pretty much add any crypto wallet. So I'm extremely excited about this because so far we've integrated Key Store. Now imagine that we one by one start to bring each of these wallets into the fold, not just Key Store and not just Phantom and not just Control, but all of them. So over time, we'll just keep adding them one by one. And the same way that we're doing this open source API for Key Store, we're going to add we're going to add all these other wallets as open source APIs that all other Hive UIs can tap into with very clear documentation on how to integrate them. So this is all a part of the INLEO proposal. These are things that we were going to build closed source for INLEO only. But now as part of the proposal, I want to make it open source for all Hive UIs. And so that when we do these collaborations, we can onboard users to literally every Hive project all at once. Yeah, Mod Manga, the Phantom wallet. Yeah, it's massive. I mean, the Phantom wallet is one of the most utilized wallets. Luis 88, what about Abstract Chain? I'm not really familiar with it, but if they've, got a wallet, we can add it. Um, Ben has said, by the way, I like the mobile pin code. Yeah, we added that for more security, but I think we built a pretty cool UI around it. I'm glad you like it. Brando said, in my opinion, Phantom has done the best job in reaching out to retail new users by building the easiest to use wallet ever. I still use it every day. Yeah, and now imagine that you could use imagine that you're a Phantom user and you see some marketing material like an X ad that says join INLEO and earn Solana with your Phantom wallet. And then you literally go to INLEO and you log in with your Phantom wallet. Like you create an account and log in with your Phantom wallet in like a few steps, the same way you can do with Keystore. Um, it's a really powerful thing. There's millions of potential users to onboard from there. And by the way, a lot of these users that are in these other ecosystems like Solana have a lot of money and they have a lot of money in crypto. So they're all potential Hive investors at the end of the day. So let me catch up on the Threadcast before I get into the next API. Yeah, Makashima shared any of these 6 million users will soon be able to sign in or get a Hive account with the same ease they would use a Solana DEX. This is what INLEO is building. Yeah, exactly. And I like that you pulled up that the Phantom wallet on Chrome, on the Chrome Web Store, has 6 million users. So now imagine that everybody using this wallet will be able to log into INLEO and sign up to Hive and immediately have a Hive account and start earning crypto um, with the same ease that they can use a Solana DEX. I like that tagline. Um, and now the kind of shifted vision of INLEO is now we're not just selling that as join INLEO with your Phantom wallet. It's join any Hive app with your Phantom wallet. So any Hive app that wants to integrate our API, join any Hive app with your Phantom wallet and immediately start using Hive. And you can use all the different Hive apps that have decided to integrate. And I think it would be worthwhile. I just thought of this. I think it'd be worthwhile for us to a add a page on INLEO that shows you which other apps have integrated different wallet APIs. So when we do these collaborations, we can send people to that page, and they can maybe it can be like a Hive ecosystem page, and on that page they can explore other Hive apps that have those specific integrations. So you can say like I'm a Phantom user, and then it'll show you which Hive apps are available for Phantom users. I think that's actually really there's thought of that right now, but I think that's a good idea. We should add that. I'll give it to the devs. They'll be happy to have more work. Yeah, Morty, there's been a lot of issues with X. I think there's more people in the X space than just you, but it's the whole X platform has been kind of intermittently offline. Sunseeker said that is a key point of INLEO's target audience, potential investors. The average user, other projects on board are content creators only. If we move out the potential for investors, that is great for Hive. Yeah, we're targeting all sorts of different users. And, as many of you saw with the Dash campaign, we had like 30 different X ad variants that targeted investors. It targeted, content creators. It targeted people who made, would make threads. It targeted people who might use creator subs. So we had a bunch of different types of advertisements for different features to go after different audience segments. So we made like 5 or 6 different audience segments within the Dash ecosystem, and then we targeted those users with X ads specific to what their interests might be. And the X ads platform, if you've ever used like Facebook ads, Google ads, or X ads, they all kind of have this similar platform where you can target users based on interest and other, kind of variables that the platform gives you. Yeah, Tass said keep filling Leo up. Yeah, it's really important that these users come to InLeo and they see engagement. So I can't stress enough how important it is to just like look at your feed and engage with accounts that you see, especially when they're new accounts with low rep scores. engage with those accounts and be active. Upvote them, engage with them, ask them more about themselves, do those things, and we'll see the whole platform grow a lot more quickly. Yeah, Lisa, I can check that out. I haven't used it at all, but looks like an interesting wallet. But yeah, I'm a fan of just integrating more integrations, more collaborations. That's my mission. That's my goal is to grow this blockchain by doing that. Carefree said 6 million on Phantom. Just give us 0.01% of those users. Yeah, I mean, we are collaborating with massive players in this ecosystem, and we're offering a seamless sign up and login experience using the wallet that they like most. So this has never been done before. We did it with Keystore in kind of a smaller way and took that template, and now we're applying it to even bigger ecosystems. And I think that that's going to lead to a lot more growth. Yeah, Phantom integration is huge. Yeah, I think Phantom is one of the ones I'm most excited about. And not because I'm a personally a user of Phantom. I'm not really a heavy user of Phantom. I use Control Wallet mostly for cross-chain stuff. Um, but I see why a lot of people use Phantom, and I'm excited about the potential users and investors it can bring to Hive. Sunseeker said, at the end of the day, the growth of Hive is the growth of INLEO, and the growth of INLEO is the growth of Hive. The strength of Hive is precisely that any user that comes is free to move around and never be locked out of their account. 100% agree. And adding more APIs so that these other login methods are available not just on INLEO, but on other Hive apps, I think is really a valuable part of things. Control Wallet, which is not even popular, has 600,000 Chrome users. Add a few more wallets, and that's millions of users from Makashima. Yeah. Look at that. Like Phantom has 6 million, Control has 600,000. A lot of these other wallets have a couple 100,000 or a couple million. Um, It's just adding all these different wallet options just opens up the entire market to a whole new broad user base of people that can come into the platform and the Hive ecosystem. Hiveless said, we would love to tap into these APIs too. We already have stablecoin payment options for some EVM wallets or EVM chains, as well as Solana, just not activated right now. Yeah, I don't know if you have any interest in the Keystore API, but if you do, that'll be the first one we release this week. Um, so if you'd like to integrate that and allow Keystore users to log in and also allow Keystore users to sign up using your UI, just reach out to me and we can share the docs and all the information with you on how to do it. See here. Ahmad Manga said the thing about Keystore compared to other wallets such as Control and Phantom is that Keystore doesn't have a centralized face for it. For example, Phantom Wallet itself could market INLEO to its audience. Keystore is too general to be able to do that. Yeah, Keystore is more of like a framework. Whereas some of these other wallets like Control and Phantom are like actual like interfaces that people use. So partnering with their teams could lead to some really interesting stuff. For example, having a section on their wallet or having links inside of their wallet. So these are things I'm talking to those teams about and how to get those added. So a big part of that is you know is releasing these integrations, making them very clear, making them successful, and making the sign up options, not just on INLEO but on other Hive UIs as well, making it really seamless and you know allowing that interoperability to actually take place. Yeah, Makashima, when there are millions of users with crypto wallets, it's extremely inefficient to go after those that know nothing about crypto. We need to get the targeting right. Anyone with a popular crypto wallet is the easiest target. I agree. There's a lot of, I mean, with the size of Hive right now, there's a lot of low-hanging fruit um, in the broader crypto space that they are already crypto familiar. They already understand wallets, and they already understand the value proposition of blockchain in general. So, those are easy targets for us to go after to get Hive to 1 million users. I mean, that's how we can get there. So, um, I'll probably only go for another, 5 to 10 minutes. So let me get into some of the other stuff we're open sourcing in terms of APIs. And like I said, there's going to be a long blog post that comes out that will talk about the specific delivery dates and the things that we're open sourcing in terms of APIs. One of the other things that we are opening up is access to half SQL. So in case you don't know, there's this thing called half SQL. There's a guy named Madhyari who created it on Hive, and it allows for really good real-time data to be pulled from the chain. But you have to run essentially a node in order to have access to it. So we run our own half SQL instance. And I was again, the team and I sat down and we said, what makes the most sense for us to open source and release in terms of easy to use APIs for other Hive UIs that are related specifically to marketing and onboarding. And half SQL access, in our opinion, is going to be one of those kind of critical infrastructure pieces, so that other UIs can integrate various features that we've integrated related to onboarding. Various features that we've built up. So we, phase two or the second part of this is to release the half SQL API endpoint where any other Hive UI can tap into our our half SQL instance. So we're going to open that up and we're going to allow that. And we're trying to deliver that by Friday of this week. So we're going to release the key store API by Thursday, and then we'll release the half SQL access by Friday. Like I said, I'm hammering the dev team to release things faster and accelerate our timeline because we need to get on top of this funding and get it going so that we can do these collaborations. Because we're at the point now where we've got the technology ready. We've got the wallet integrations ready. So we really need to accelerate our timelines. And the next thing that we'll open up after half SQL is the accounts API. So I set that deadline as next week, the next Friday. And the accounts API is essentially, we have our own API for all accounts on Hive, and we've got different data sets within those APIs. So it allows things like showing premium status, like if you're premium or not, if you're subscribed to any creators on INLEO, which I'll get into a little bit, and then some other key pieces of data. So we're going to release this accounts API, and any UI will be able to tap into it, and they'll be able to essentially sort through any of that data and choose what they want to pull and what they don't want to pull. So, for example, it will allow other UIs to integrate INLEO Premium. It'll allow other UIs to integrate creator subscriptions, so that imagine this future where if you set up a creator subscription on INLEO and people subscribe to you, let's say that another UI like PeakD integrates creator subscriptions. Now your private content will be both on PeakD and INLEO. So anyone who's subscribed to you will be able to see that content on both places. Or for example, imagine that these, and again, we're making these APIs open so that people can get creative with them. So imagine that a app like ActiveFit adds creator subscriptions. Now, if you become like, let's say you start your journey on ActiveFit and you subscribe to someone who does private, kind of like workout content or maybe coaching through a creator subscription on ActiveFit. And then now, on INLEO, that person also shares like private threads with like videos and images on INLEO. If you're a creator subscriber of them, you get both platforms. So you can go to both platforms and see their creator subscription content. So opening up the accounts API allows for things like that and some other things as well. And also it's specifically important for what comes later down the line, which is the referral system getting open sourced, which I'll get into. So another part of the multi-phase approach is releasing the open source dynamic resource credit delegation code base. So like I said, with the first phase that's coming this week, we're releasing the key store API so that all other Hive UIs can integrate key store signups and logins. With that, when a new user signs up with key store, we use our resource credit delegation system to dynamically give that user resource credits to make sure that they don't run out. Down the road, I have the estimated delivery date for this in April, sometime in April. We're going to open source the actual code base, the raw code base for that dynamic RC delegation system. So that if other UIs, other projects out there, or even like say you're a big Hive investor and you have a lot of Hive power that you want to donate to other UIs to use it to use your resources, you'll be able to run your own instance of the dynamic resource credit delegation system, and essentially donate your resource credits to new users. So we're going to release that in April. And then the next phase after that is other wallet integrations. So similar to what we're doing with the Key Store API getting opened up, we are going to release other wallets. So I mentioned Phantom, Control, and some of these other wallets. We're going to start releasing those one by one. So the estimated delivery date for that is April as well, to release the next wallet. So that'll be one wallet getting released in April. And then every time we do a collaboration, we're going to release another wallet integration that's specific to that collaboration. So, for example, say that, the collaboration with Solana is about to go live. Before that goes live, we're going to release the Phantom Wallet API the same way we did with Key Store, and allow other Hive UIs a little bit of time to integrate the Phantom Wallet sign up and login method, so that when we do the Solana integration and collaboration with their team, any Hive UI will be ready to go who wants to be, and get those Phantom users onboarded through their platform, or say someone gets onboarded through INLEO and then wants to go explore ActiveFit, PeakD, ECNC, 3Speak, Splinterlands, whatever app they want to see, they can easily be onboarded to those apps and log in with their Phantom wallet. So that'll be phase 5, which is kind of a multi-phase within itself. Like I said, we'll do Phantom, but then say down the road we have like a Thorchain integration go live. Then we release like the Control wallet, Thor wallet, and some of those other ones. So that'll all come. That one is like the first one will be delivered in April, but then the other ones will be delivered as the collaborations happen. The phase after that is the referral system. So I mentioned this a little bit before. We're expecting to deliver that sometime by May, maybe sooner. We'll see. We need to be kind of careful with the referral system because it has to have really intricate controls in place to prevent abuse. So we've got those controls in place on our front end, but we want to make sure that those controls are kind of across the board. So by May, we're going to open source the referral system, and many of you guys already know how that works. But when you refer, you can use your referral code to onboard new users and then actually retain those users. So it's a really big important thing for retention in general. As many of you know, when you go to the referral page, you can see a list of the users that you've referred in, and you can see how active they are, and you can click their profile. So when you do that, you'll be able to get a lot more users, kind of onboarded and ready, and retained in terms of making threads, making comments, making blog posts, etc. So the referral system will get fully open sourced, and the APIs for it will get released. And again, we're going to still use Leo as the main thing for the referral system. So when we open source that, again, it allows for creativity. So if another application like Splinterlands, for example, has their own token, they can choose to allow, rewards and SPS for onboarding your friends and things like that. So by open sourcing a lot of this stuff, we open the doors for a lot of creativity from other apps on Hive. So that's going to go live. And then after that is the collaboration timeline. So, while and it's like I keep saying, there's two main pieces to this. So we're open sourcing all this technology. We're making these plug and play APIs. We're doing all of that work, the technology work itself, but then we're also doing all the marketing work. So the collaborations are still happening. So, going out and collaborating with Solana, and Phantom Wallet and collaborations that are similar to that are still a key part of this proposal. So we're asking for funding, not only to just like open source all our technology and release it as plug and play APIs, but also have the marketing around those to take those to the market and actually onboard users and investors to Hive. So with that, the collaboration timeline still remains the same as the last proposal post that went out. About every 3 months, we're going to look to run one of these collaborations, with, Solana, Phantom, etc. And the collaboration is a really good example of what we're going to do with that. And we will, track the success of each collaboration. And essentially, the methodology of it has changed a little bit where we're not just collaborating and onboarding people to INLEO. If any UIs integrate if any you got UIs integrate these login methods like key store, Phantom, etc., it will be able to bring them not only into INLEO but also to all these other Hive apps. So it's just going to make the marketing and collaboration that much more effective. Self-help for trolls said the marketing is all I want at this point. We need more users, and only Leo has the plan to make this work. Yeah, I mean, marketing and collaborating with other ecosystems, this has been something that INLEO has been focused on for years. It's something where we've pushed our technology to the limits in terms of being able to do this. We don't want to just make it so that only INLEO can do all this stuff. I want it so that every Hive UI can benefit from us taking these things to market and making them successful. So yeah, opening up all these APIs is a key part of the plan now. And I'm hoping that it makes very clear deliverables for anyone who might be on the fence about our proposal. Giving these very clear deliverables will kind of help align everybody, in my opinion. So that's kind of where the focus is. And I want to see more attention and awareness around it. So if you guys can go out and once this post gets released, leave a really good comment on it, share the post with other Hive users and people who've got a lot of Hive power, especially like if you comment on their posts and tell them about it, that can really help. You guys spreading the word really helps with getting the proposal to the funding line. And getting the proposal to the funding line is a critical lead domino to us doing these collaborations. Like I just don't think we can make the collaborations happen without getting to the funding line. So that's why I'm pushing so hard. That's why I keep, reaching out to people on Hive and getting feedback. We need to get this thing done. See you later, my manga. Thanks for coming. Self-help for trolls said, have any other huge front ends expressed interest in using Keystore? Yeah, there have been a couple. So I don't want to name them yet because they may change their mind or whatever. So I don't want to put them on the spot. But a few have reached out to me and said that they're going to integrate. So we've got about 6 that have committed to doing it verbally. And once we release the open APIs, I hope to see more. I hope people see just how easy it is to release on their UI. So hopefully once we show how easy it is, we'll get more people or more front ends integrating it. Thanks for coming, Andersino. Yeah, self-help trolls. I think, I think we can set the example. I want to release these open source APIs and be, a leader in terms of, not only building open source code, but taking it to market. Because I think both things are just as important. I think there's a lot of people who just do one or the other. And I want to set an example where you can do both and make our proposal about doing both. So that's the example I'm trying to set with all this stuff. But yeah, I'm pretty much caught up on all the questions. So again, like I said, watch out for this blog post. I'm gonna probably release it shortly after we jump off of here. And leave a comment on it, spread it around the blockchain, send it to other people. And and ensure that we get the word out there that INLEO is not only trying to market our technologies, we're open sourcing everything and we're marketing it, and that's what our proposal is really about. But with that, I think we are good to go. Thanks everyone for coming. I see IJats, you had a question about Gitcoin grants. We haven't really looked into it, but it's not off the table, especially as we move towards open sourcing. So my goal now for INLEO is really to open source a lot of the things we've built, and then get funding to take them to the market. Like I said, it's really important to have both. Um, so what I want to see happen now is us getting this proposal through, open sourcing all this technology as we're promising to do in a pretty aggressive timeline, and then get on to the collaborations and get on to onboarding, thousands of new users to Hive and thousands of new investors into Hive Power, and ultimately just bringing those network effects. So thanks everyone for coming. Thanks Luis, thanks Menno, um, and yeah. We will, the AMA tomorrow will still happen at noon Eastern. Just be aware, I guess I should have announced this earlier, that the clocks do change in the Eastern time zone. So it may be like an hour different for you if you don't change your clocks, which I know most of the world doesn't. So just be aware that noon Eastern was an hour ago. So, or like an hour and 15 minutes ago. So tomorrow, the AMA will be in like literally 23 hours from now. So just be aware of that. I'll be putting out obviously all the X Space announcements, and the threads and whatnot. So thanks everyone for coming, and see you tomorrow at the AMA.